Oh, excuse me. I didn't know we were live. Hello, Canucks fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, brought to you by the great folks over at Zephyr Epic. You can use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, all one word, Hockey Season. That'll get you $5 off your order at ZephyrEpic.com. That is ZEPHYR Epic.com. And if you shop online, that's where you want to go. And if you do go there, you can enjoy free shipping Canada-wide on any order over $50. But if you want to shop in person, you want to get that feel of walking into a store, yelling at the cashier, my co-host always says. Promo code also works in person at their retail location in Surrey, British Columbia. So be sure to go check out the fine folks over at Zephyr Epic. They're all over the social medias. They've got you covered for all of your trading card needs. We've got trading card needs today. We are opening up the 2023-24 hockey MVP set. Okay, what'd you pull? You got something.
These packs get better and better. I tell you, the MVP ones are awesome. I got a Jared Spurgeon. And do you know the name of the mascot for the Minnesota Wild? Do you know what the mascot of the Minnesota Wild is?
It's a bear, I'd assume, right?
Maybe. I don't know what this is.
I pull a Bo Horvat Canucks card.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a bear. Its name is Nordy.
Of course, that's a bear.
It might be.
But what's on its head? What's on his head?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he wearing another? Is that a bear pelt on his head?
See, it might be a cat. Anyways, tell me what.
Does this suggest that there's bear on bear crime happening in Minnesota?
That's what I've heard.
Bears do
kill
each other, right?
Why didn't you start the show with lightning crashes? Like that's what I did for the first segment on the show. You know that song?
No.
Aaron, do you know the song Lightning Crashes by, I think it's Live or Live? Lightning crashes.
Oh.
I
want you to sing it. Yeah.
Well, he is. A lot of singing on this show. Aaron, you got a song for us? What have you prepared for the group?
No.
I'm not feeling too good after last night. I don't want to sing.
Oh, that's right. The Oilers lost to the Flyers.
See you, Quads. But
you want to start there? You want to start in a good mood?
Jimmy says it. I think it's a mountain lion. Might be right here.
Okay. Okay. So
do we want to talk about the Canucks today?
We have to talk about the Canucks, but also let's talk about the Edmonton Oilers and their goaltending, obviously, which is a great time to talk about the generous guy.
Wow, you're
presented by Crown Royal. Generosity lives in the small things. It doesn't need money or an audience or even acknowledgement. It just needs a few good people. Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell are examples of those good people. Crown Royal, crown everything. Who's your generous guy today, Chris?
My generous guy?
I think we have the same one. I think a lot of Canucks fans have the same one.
Poor Aaron. He's dealing with
strays. Catching strays. Left, right, and center.
Generous.
It's Friday vibe. Fabes, you give me.
Here we go. My generous guy. I'm keeping it hockey related in here, Quads. I'm not going off the. I'm not going to Edmonton for my generous guy like you did last week. Elias Pettersson. Quiet night last night. Wasn't a great game for him. He was one of the lower guys in the dog rating yesterday as well. I think he might be banged up a little bit.
You think?
I think.
Are you basing that off Tocchet saying he's banged up the day before that game?
Could be something like that. Yeah.
Missing practice.
Elias Pettersson picked up a pair of assists against the Lightning. He's up to 7 assists on the season through 4 games. So yeah, he's banged up. He's still getting the assist because he's a generous guy, Quads.
Tied with Tim Stützle in Ottawa for the point lead, NHL point lead, Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, you were trying to get me to take a shot at Crown. I got to get out to Abbotsford tonight, though. I can't.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're a generous guy. Let's go.
Tyler Myers. I think we're viewing it a little differently. I think my generous guy is going to be generosity to the other team because let's start there. Lightning crashes, all that, whatever you want to say.
Cries.
Tyler Myers last night. Everybody's talking about it. I think we have had 5 articles about it on Canucks Army. And hey, like people that have listened to this show for more than a year, I've been Tyler Myers' biggest defender since that contract started. Really, I took so much heat for how much I stood up for Tyler Myers. And then he had that great season at age 31. He was awesome that year. He's had 1 good year as a Canuck, at least, maybe 2. Maybe that's a little generous. The generous guy brought to you by Crown Royal. Whoa. But last night was inexcusable. That's the only word that comes to mind. We heard the word unacceptable a lot from Bo Horvat. I'm using the word inexcusable to describe the way that Tyler Myers played, not only last night, but in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, everybody was bad, except for Thatcher Demko. We saw a lot of guys bounce back in a really big way on Thursday night. We saw JT Miller. I thought JT Miller was fantastic. JT Miller was driving play. He was the first on pucks. He was
a
winning
dog.
puck battle. His dog rating led the team last night, correct?
Top of the team, 90.60, I think.
And
or something.
alternatively, on the other end, Myers was the cat 2 nights in a row. He had a negative dog rating in Philadelphia, and last night, what was it, like 10 something?
And he scored a goal last night, which
and
is
he
the
scored,
wildest
which
thing.
should bump it up.
No, I like, man. You look at it's just the decision making. It's the things in the defensive zone. When you get him trapped in his zone too much, Myers just tends to end up making a mistake, right? Like there are certain situations that play out where, when push comes to shove, it's very worrisome to have Tyler Myers back there with certain things. And I think like last night, like the clear obvious one was the first goal. You go and you try and clear that puck. It's not really necessarily like it's in a clearing attempt. It didn't look like there was much of a clear involved in the actual play, because it felt like a pass to the opposition, right? It was horrendous. And then Demko makes those 2 huge saves. Like he can't get the third. You give him 3 point blank shots. That's the type of things we saw from the Canucks over the past couple of years, right? Getting left hanging out to dry for Demko or Spencer Martin or Colin Delia, whoever it was in net. Like it happened to Demko last night on that play, and he makes 2 just unreal saves. And it's like you can't expect him to make the third, but you shouldn't expect your defenseman to make that pass in the first place. That was a tape to tape, like firm pass that sets up a Tampa Bay goal right off the bat. It wasn't just that too. It was the penalty kill. And you know what Rick Tocchet's talked about a lot lately? Like not multiplying the mistakes, right? And it's just, you saw that on the goal from Kucherov when he had the wide open shot from the right side. That was when Tyler Myers goes and bowls over Elias Pettersson. But it wasn't just that. It was like the puck got free. There was a play and then a mistake there, another mistake, then like a massive mistake when Myers bowls over Pettersson, opens up a ton of space. All these things that Tocchet's been talking about. For the most part of the game, like I thought the Canucks were pretty solid. Like I think they actually did a pretty decent job of like actually being in the game. Much more improved play than what we saw against Philadelphia the other night.
I thought their second period needed a lot of work.
Sure, they scored. Yeah, they kind of, you know, they kind of like exerted all of their energy. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Good. Exerted all of their energy early on. They got the 2 goals in the 62 seconds to start the period, and then it was
69 seconds.
No. Tampa scored 2 in 69. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, to say that the Canucks lead was nice while it lasted, and then the 2 goals in 69 seconds, that was tough. But yeah, Besser and Myers end up scoring those goals, and it was like, okay, they're back in this game. And then it was like foot off the gas, right? Like it felt like the foot was off the gas at that point a little bit. I thought that like the third period, like they did, and we'll play some clips from Tocchet. Like the third period was the better kind of hockey that you want to see from them, right? Like that was the kind of hockey that you want to see. Yeah, they only got the goal from JT Miller late. It just feels like we've talked about this on the show a lot in the past couple of years. Like, why is it that other teams can get such clear scoring chances where it's like, this is not only just like and I know you can measure this by like the high dangers and the low danger scoring chances and all that, but like clear, they should score on this play. Lightning had a lot more than the Vancouver Canucks did. I know you can go back and look at the high danger chances. I'm sure Tampa Bay had more in the first place, but like the eye test telling me, not the analytics stuff, the eye test telling me that they should score on this play. I can't think of how many the Canucks had.
You're right.
Like I can't think of how many, and it's not even the ones they scored on. Like they weren't high. Like I want to call them like super high danger scoring chances.
Well, Myers had the puck on his stick. That's high danger for everybody on the ice.
Easy there. Poor guy. Myers has been taking it. I'm going to try and like not be too bad because social media last night. Was it Harmon who had the tweet of like Canadians around the country wondering what the hell Chaos Giraffe is? Is that what the tweet?
Trending?
Why is that trending on Twitter?
Chaos Giraffe was trending on Twitter, Canada wide.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were confused with that. But you know what? Like, yeah. Couple of really big mistakes cost them the game, but at least they were in it. And Spark brings up a question.
Yeah,
in the chat. Why are we having to discuss effort and consistency for years now? Because it hasn't been there. We're trying to discuss it.
Let's discuss this game within the parameters that we laid out yesterday, Chris, where we talked about, okay, it's important to raise the bar. And we said this in the context of somebody in the chat had an issue that we were saying that the Canucks didn't play well in Philadelphia and that it's unacceptable. We hate to use that word, but that it was unacceptable, inexcusable, the way they played in Philadelphia. And really what we were doing was just echoing what Tocchet said.
Yeah.
Tocchet was very upset about that game in Philadelphia. And the parameters we laid out yesterday were, okay, well, wins and losses matter, of course, because you want to make the playoffs, but the way that they're losing games is what matters the most. This loss was much easier to swallow if you're a Canucks fan. They did a lot of really
glaring
good
mistakes.
things. Glaring mistakes. And hey, 2 of them came off the stick of one player who we all know kind of shouldn't be here. When I say all know, I mean Jim Rutherford at his intro press conference saying, yeah, we're still about 1 to 2 contracts away from where we'd like to be. Yeah, they don't want Tyler Myers here. They don't want Tyler Myers on this team.
They don't want to make it $6
Management's
million.
just like you, fans. They're just like you. They don't want him here.
And I know you pondered this question as well. Like, would you think about attaching a draft pick? And like to think about the way he started the season. Listen, Myers is going to have some good games as the year goes on. Okay, I don't care. I know everyone right now doesn't want to hear it. He will have some games where you're like, that was a solid game for Tyler Myers tonight. Played 22 minutes and he played solid. They're not going to happen every single game. So like right now, the thought of trading him at the deadline for anything in return, after the last 2 games, you're thinking, geez, that's not going to happen.
But I also don't think we should rush to takes about, move out the first so that you can just get rid of Myers and bring something back.
No.
I don't think we should rush to that because every other team is going to see that and say, well, he just had the 2 worst games of his Canucks tenure, I think.
Would you sit him, though? Like, would you? I saw this a lot last night. Would you sit him?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say
for Noah Juulsen?
Yeah, I would. You have to rotate those guys. And even if you don't think that Juulsen's going to be a step up on Myers, which is, whatever, that's fair. That's a fair take to have. I'm not here to argue with you about that. Aaron, clip this, by the way. Even if you don't think that Noah Juulsen is a step up on Myers, a night in the press box is a good way for, and I don't even want to look at this through the lens of this is a punishment for Tyler Myers, more so the fact that it's like hey, you know what? You've been struggling lately. Here's a chance to reset, see the game from up top. How often do we say, Chris, that when we're sitting in the press box, you can really see plays developing, you can really start to understand systems a lot better. Just a night off where you just get to watch the game. You have some things that you're focusing on that you're watching while you're watching the game. Like you're not just sitting there eating popcorn, or at least you shouldn't be.
No.
You're watching the game. You're trying to figure out what you're doing wrong and what you can improve on. And on top of that, if you're rotating a Juulsen and Myers, you're creating some internal competition. Before the Friedman trade, there was no competition. The team can't call anybody up. There's about 14 teams in the league that can't call anybody up from Abbotsford because of the salary cap.
Yeah.
You're creating some internal competition.
Yeah, I would start, and I saw somebody in the comments mentioned up, Jimmy Grimmy said, just use Cole on the right and bring up Hirose for a game. Yeah, I'd say that, or Wolanin as well. Or, man, could you let Jet Wu give a shot? Like, could you give Jet Wu a shot?
No.
Why not?
Well, okay, first of all,
why not? He's the best right shot defenseman they have in Abbotsford.
Okay.
He's better than Cole McWard, and we've seen what Cole McWard can do at the NHL level.
You think he's better than Cole McWard? You're ready to say that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm there.
You really think Jet Wu should get a shot now? Aaron, you got 2 clips.
I think Jet Wu could get a shot. I don't think you want him playing 22 minutes.
Well, Myers was the low man at 5-on-5 last night.
I think you could slide Jet Wu in.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's why my question.
See, man, like, listen, I know that he's not a finished product. Okay, he's not going to be the answer right now to be like, oh, this just solved the third pairing. There's a chance. There's a chance he is. Like, there's a chance that Jet Wu looks even better at the NHL because of the things that he's learned over his time in the AHL now. I think he's made improvements. He looks like a better player. His puck possession's better in the AHL. He was the best right shot defenseman in the Abbotsford Canucks lineup last weekend. And he's probably going to be top pairing again this next weekend coming up here, playing with Christian Wolanin, who, like, I think he should be in the NHL too. So I at least, like, from what we've seen in the losses for this Vancouver Canucks team, I think that you got to try something else. You got to try something else. Like, I've seen enough nights of, I've seen Noah Juulsen in the AHL have really good nights, and I've seen him have some bad nights. I don't see that as much with Jet Wu. I see Jet Wu kind of just being what he is a lot of nights. He doesn't have, there's nights actually, like, I guess maybe that's what I like about giving Jet Wu a chance. Is like, he's at least giving you, he doesn't have like, and this, I don't want this to be like a bad way, but he doesn't have like a lot to give. He's just going to give you what he is. Like, he's not going to be the guy who's shutting down every penalty kill. He's also not going to bring a lot of offense. He's going to go out there and play a right shot defense. That's all he's going to do. Jet Wu, like, there are certain nights where he impresses you with this offense.
That does sound like a step up on what we've seen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not flashy, but Jet Wu can play right side defense. I don't know if he can do it at the NHL level.
That's what I'm saying.
But he does a solid job in the AHL right now of just being that guy. Like, you know who else did that? You know who else was really good at the AHL, just being a solid right shot defenseman?
Tell me.
Guess. Jalen Chatfield was a just very good, solid AHL defenseman.
And the argument with Chatfield has always been, okay, well, the reason he couldn't do anything in Vancouver was because there was no system for him to play into.
Sure. I think it's
like, you have to think Jalen Chatfield with this system and this coaching staff could have been something for Vancouver. Sure, right?
but could Jet Wu be that guy now? You have
like
another
that
young.
Take. I like that take. Rather than crying over spilled milk, let's go see. Maybe Jet Wu's that guy.
Turn in the page and listen. I'll watch him tonight. I'll watch him closely tonight.
Yeah.
You know me, Quads. I'm full of the positivity. Speaking of positivity, I'll get to something in a second. But I'm going to go watch out there tonight in Abbotsford. And I think this is a good time for Jet Wu. I have a feeling that Canucks management and maybe Talkett's on the AHL free preview tonight too. AHL TV free game tonight. Maybe he's watching the game and he's thinking, gee, what do we got down here? Is Cole McWard maybe going to be there? Is Jet Wu? I would be looking at these right shot defensemen tonight, be like, hey, if I'm like, if I'm Jet's dad, the actor, he, be like, hey, tonight you got to have a game tonight, bud. Like, people are going to be watching tonight for the right shot defenseman.
So are you just like, to make this work, you could just send down Noah Juleson and call up Jet Wu, right?
Sure. Yeah, I don't see why not. But I mean, like, I just think it's the reaction from the last two games a little bit too. So. Mm-hmm. But I think the reaction's fair, right? Because you can hear it. We'll get to it in a second. One more quick thing of positivity before we get to
I've got some positivity stuff too.
I got one thing real quick. Let's get this up here. Thomas Durant's actually bringing the positivity.
Excuse me?
Yeah, here we go. Quinn Hughes has played in 95 minutes and 43 seconds through 4 games for the Canucks this season. His team has yet to allow a goal when he's on the ice. Can I get a Norris real quick?
Eastern media has also yet to figure out how good he is.
Oh, brutal.
There's just no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He looks great.
He does look great.
I tell you, like, that little move, that little shimmy and shake that he had there, and got around the defender in the off. I forget which player it was, but they were going right to left. He was on the left side. It just blew by whoever he was striking.
Can I ask you something though, Chris? Like, you've watched Quinn Hughes since he's come into the league. You watched him last year. Does that stat surprise you at all?
I mean, that does. That's a lot of minutes without a goal against on a team that's lost a couple.
Sure.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't surprise me that much, though. Like, we've known that Quinn Hughes is a very, very good defenseman. Sure. Does it surprise you that with how many they've given up? Sure.
It surprises me because he's killing penalties, and that's also
like
he's it does surprise me that they've done it, but it's a good surprise.
Travis,
and thank you to Kurt. No, Kurt in the chat. I said, can I get a Norris? You didn't give me anything. Kurt says Norris. Thank you, Kurt.
In all lowercase letters, Kurt didn't want to do that.
Kurt
felt pressured. Travis said, let's clone Quinn Hughes. Here's a good take. Save that for the anyone else segment later. Okay, before that, though, I just want to quickly, I said it earlier. Also, let's cool it with the Tyler Myers hate, everybody. I hope, I don't know if this is happening.
Get it all out.
I hope there's nothing on social media, anything like that. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. Don't give me, I don't want to hear it.
No, but I think a lot of people online are just talking about hockey.
Whatever. Sure.
Nobody's crossing the line that I've seen.
Yeah.
Anything
don't cross the line when it comes to this stuff. Like, we have fun, and we, I obviously have made a couple Tyler Myers related jokes today, but these are real people. So
can I just circle back to the very start? Does nobody know the song I'm talking about? The lightning crash.
What is lightning crashes?
Lightning crashes. I used to listen to it come back from forth.
Do you know the artist?
Yeah, it's like Live or Live or something.
So you don't know the artist?
No, it is. I just don't know if it's Live or Live. It's spelled Live. Oh. So I don't know if it's Live or Live. I've never heard them. Does nobody know this song? Lightning crashes.
I've never heard it.
It's a good track, man. It'll get you fired up.
Okay, final thing from me on this. Yeah. I just want to quickly talk about Miller.
Oh, yeah,
JT Miller was fantastic.
Yeah, this is good for our clip. We have Rick talking on the battles, but
we'll get to that right after this. Yeah. But just JT Miller last night was so good on the forecheck. He was so solid in all 3 zones. He's my generous guy, really, from last night. The way he set up Brock Besser, he really anticipated that play well, and he really kept his feet moving. And I think with Miller, that's always been something that whenever he criticizes himself, he always says, I know what I have to do. I just don't do it for whatever reason. And I need to keep my feet moving. We always hear that from him. And I really saw it last night. And that's the kind of bounce back you want from a leader of this team. And I just thought it was a very good statement game for JT Miller. Like, that's the player that they wanted when they extended him, right? Like, that's the player they thought they were getting. Yes, it was really alarming to see how checked out he was last year, especially on like back checks and all that stuff. But those are the non-negotiables that Tocchet speaks about.
And what did we talk about yesterday? We wanted one of these guys that are part of the leadership group to step up and send a message after a couple of losses. And I think JT Miller was that guy, right? Like one loss, sorry, but now it's a couple losses. But he was that guy. He's the guy that you like when push came to shove. At least JT Miller showed up yesterday, right? Like he was one of the guys that did show up, and not only show up but step up. So I do have to give him mad props. I thought he had a great game. He was the top dog. Sam Lafferty, I'll tell you what, Lafferty's gonna start scoring well in the dog rating. We've seen that early on in this point in the season. Niels Höglander came in third. I thought, man. I think it might be time to give Niels a top 6. One more game. Let it ride out these lines. After this,
we've got
happy.
8 minutes left in the show.
Okay.
We said we wanted a short one, but we just rolled.
Yeah. Let's get to the Tocchet audio talking about it. I think they played a better game. They just had a couple of big mistakes. And this is what Rick Tocchet had to say after the game yesterday.
Love the battle. So hats off the guys. They competed. We just got to clean up the crucial mistakes. There's 3 or 4 of them tonight that, you can't, we always talk about don't duplicate
mistakes, but that's what they did. That's it.
All right.
That's kind of what we've been talking. Like I was
okay. So through the first 2 games, especially, I thought a thing that really stood out to me was the Canucks' ability to not allow themselves to compound mistakes was very solid. And that's what Tocchet's speaking about is if you make one mistake, that's fine. We can recover because we have a strong structure.
Yeah.
But it's when there's mistake 2, 3, Thatcher Demko save 2, 3, 4. That's when you start to run into trouble. And that's what we've seen from this team at times in these 2 losses.
Yeah.
I thought for the most part, though, they were much better last night at not allowing themselves to compound those mistakes.
Yeah. And there's a few things they still need to work on. I think, it's weird. I think I've said this for a long time. The Canucks do like a decent job getting into the offensive zone. They don't do a great job like really getting that, like I talked about earlier, getting the real grade A scoring chances. That other teams just seem to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've seen enough of that up to this point right now.
Do you want to know something worse than these last 2 losses?
What's that?
Something much worse.
What's that?
When your fantasy team or your burger are ice cold.
Yeah.
And that's why Wendys is offering fresh prizes all season long with Wendys Daily Face-Off Survivor Fantasy. The game lives weekly on dailyfaceoff.com with weekly prizes and a season-long prize of $5,000 up for grabs. It's simple. Sign up, play, and then get free stuff on the Wendys app. You pick a prop that will happen in a game, and the longer you survive with correct answers, the more you can win from Wendys. So while you obsess over your dream team, reward that dedication with Wendys' new obsession, the very real barbecue bacon cheeseburger.
Oh, let's see it, Aaron.
Freshly added to the Wendys lineup, enjoy the Applewood smoked bacon and crispy onions as cheese melts over the fresh, never frozen Canadian beef. Folks, next week, be prepared to sign up for the Wendys Daily Face-Off Survivor game. We'll be updating our progress on the show. And look at that burger.
I put in a word with sales as well. I said, I'll eat one of these if they want it, I'll eat one every day.
You'll take one for the team and eat one of those every day?
I'll be the guy that falls on the sword here. I know Aaron wants to, but I'm not letting Aaron take.
You know what? I also want to throw my hat in the ring.
No, I'll take this one.
No, I'll do it too.
No, it's fine.
We should do that.
Good on DoorDash. All right. Get the Wendys. The Wendys stuff's gonna be cool. The Survivor pool they're starting up over on Daily Face-Off
next week. Okay, you got some stuff. Let's go.
Weekend update. Saturday Night Live style here. Abbotsford, they're playing Calgary tonight and Saturday. They're out at the Abbotsford Center. Good news. I saw Ben Lipka tweeting about this. Good show, friend of the show, Ben Lipka, out there in Abbotsford. Free game tonight on the AHL TV. If you watched last week and you're like, I didn't even need to buy the AHL package. Hey, log in with that same email. You can watch the game again tonight for free. 7:00 against Calgary. That's going to be a good one. Dustin Wolf versus Archer Seelovs. Woo! That's some good young goalies going up against each other. You got Tom Willander and Aiden Celebrini, the rest of the BU players as well. They're going to be playing tonight and tomorrow as well, Friday and Saturday against Notre Dame. Notre Dame hockey quads. The Fighting Irish. Or maybe there's something else for hockey. You know that like some universities call like different.
Yeah, I find that weird.
Football, they're one thing. Baseball, they're another. And soccer, nobody watches. But I mean, like we'll see what happens. They're playing Notre Dame. I think they should put a pretty good little whooping on them. Lots of SHL action on Saturday as well. You got Lekar-Mackey's coming off of a goal-scoring performance the other day, and Lucas Forsell was top line. Didn't look great, but we'll see if he's somewhere near the top 6 next game or if he's back down in that 4th line role on Saturday for Frid-USA, who's been excellent. Like I've been learning Swedish, right? And I'm learning all the words, but I'm getting so much better at how to pronounce the letters. Because that's part of the lessons too. I'm learning how this sounds,
Yeah.
A little bit of Y in there. You know that in Swedish to write family, all you do is write family, but you know how in Swedish they say like junior, they say junior? Like in the J and the Y's are swapped.
Yeah.
So in Swedish, family is just family, but with a J at the end instead of a Y. So it looks like you misspelled on your phone.
Really?
In famille.
How do you say it?
In famille.
Wow.
And you know what else?
I'm proud of you. I think that's really cool that you're learning Swedish.
Yeah.
yeah.
Jag are smart, that doesn't sound great, but that's all what smart is in Swedish. It's just smart. So that doesn't make me sound that great either. But I'm working on the Swedish. It's been fun. I'm liking it. I'm on the Duolingo.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Super Duolingo. I got the upgrade. I got the owl flying through the sky. And also I'll be on Rink Wide tomorrow with JPat.
Nice.
Yeah. So my first post game show with JPat.
Do you know where I'll be on?
I'll be on the couch. You don't do much.
Bang on. That is exactly what I was going to say.
No,
on my rear.
Not me.
Getting my favorite eats delivered to me with DoorDash and with Double Dash.
With what? DoorDash?
That's why I said DoorDash. With Double Dash on DoorDash, you can order from multiple restaurants or stores in the same delivery without additional delivery fees, so everyone can get what they want.
You just learned about this Double Dash from me.
I think it's
yesterday.
so cool. That's so handy. Well, anyways, it's almost the end of the show, so that means it's time for anyone else, of course, presented by DoorDash.
Ding dong.
It's our listeners' chance to get involved and hit us up in the YouTube live chat, and it's also our listeners' chance to get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more. That's right. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code NATION25, all capital letters there. That's 25% off up to $10 value and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code NATION25. That's code NATION25 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms apply. What do we got in the chat here?
Anyone else? Let's see. First from Tankar Om Libet. You don't say family like that. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm going off the app. Okay. I mean, I'm learning it. I'm just
Tankar. Well, Tankar, post the proper pronunciation in the chat.
I think it's just family. In family.
I would family. Laugh my rear off if it was.
I think that's
just
what it is. I think
family.
I think I blew. I'm caught in between half of them.
Elias Pettersson's listening to this show and is appalled with you.
I'll tell you this. I know how to say my wife is nice.
Okay. How do you say it?
Min fru are schnall or schnall. Min fru are schnall.
People noticed on Twitter you had a wife tweet. You were a big wife guy.
I am
last night. You tweet the my wife tweet. That was your first. Was that your first my wife tweet?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm changing the fiance to my wife.
Yeah.
Here.
Now we can say wags.
Yeah. Bert Can, that was part of the anyone else as well. Cactus Jack says, is it possible that the NHL is rigged at least sometimes? I don't know. I don't know if it's rigged. I think hockey's pretty hard to rig.
I'm sorry, what? I have not seen this comment.
Is the NHL rigged?
In what context?
I don't think hockey's one you can rig.
Is the draft lottery rigged?
Ooh, maybe.
Maybe.
Good point. Here we go. What's okay, let me get this name real quick. Dmitry Fulsendkov. That sounds like an NHL.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Name.
Let's hear it.
What's the 2023 equivalent of Raymond Ballard and a third? Ooh, here we go. Well, for the Canucks, it would be a second because they like to move second.
Yeah.
So, and then the defenseman in the lineup that you would move, probably Tyler Myers. But I don't think there's value there.
No, you can't put.
That's the problem.
Ballard.
So the 2023 version is you're trying to get a good player here, I guess. So I don't know. Would it be
Ian Cole, man?
But you like Ian Cole in the room though so much.
Well, Keith Ballard, they liked in the room.
That's true. I don't know if there's an equivalent. Maybe it doesn't have to be defense.
Tyler Myers like Victor Oreskovich.
Yeah. I think the 2023 equivalent would be like, and they just moved Rathbone, but I feel like it would have been like Höglander, Rathbone, and a second.
Sure.
Right? Like that's some value. Hey, Höglander's good.
But I think
value.
Cole.
No, I think it was Rathbone for a while there.
Rathbone doesn't play in the NHL. He's not in the NHL lineup.
Family. Sorry, I'm just reading this Swedish. I like Tankar in here correcting my Swedish. This is a good it's a good weekly review for me. How's my Duolingo gone this week? Tankar's got me
I like
covered.
this from Kurt. Unpopular opinion. Instead of retaining in a Garland deal or adding a draft pick / sweetener, how about adding Podkolzin and getting a draft pick back? I would hate to lose Podkolzin in this market.
No, I wouldn't too.
He's like so nice to deal with.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. I'd rather give up a draft pick than Podkolzin.
Dude, we can't lose Rathbone and Podkolzin in the same season.
No, two of the guys.
Canucks Convo can't handle that.
No.
What's next? McDonough? We gonna lose McDonough?
Watch it. It might be. All right,
No.
let's get to our Betway bet of the day and wrap this thing up. Get our Fridays off. I gotta get going. It's 2:01 right now. I gotta be on the road in 10 minutes if I gotta make it to Abbotsford by 7.
Okay.
So
We'll wrap it
here
up.
we go.
Betway, let's go.
Betway. Speaking of Abbotsford, hey, the hits, they keep coming, baby. AHL, SHL, Betway. We're crushing on it. And this time, I want to go over because it's an exciting game. But hey, what did I say earlier? Who's in net?
Dustin Wolf.
And
Artie.
Archer Seelovs. So I think we're going to go with the Abbotsford Canucks winning, but we're going to get the under on this one. We don't like to do the under because we like exciting games. We're going under 5.5 goals.
People are calling it an Artie party when you're in that. I like that.
Artie likes it when we call the under, so I'm going with the under here. I'm expecting like a 3-2 or 3-1 win for Abbotsford, 3-1 maybe with an empty netter. So that's what I got for your Betway bet of the day. Bet the responsible way. Must be 19 plus to play. DJ Quads, take us home.
This is how DJs hold why do they do this? I don't why.
So you can get the vibe of the room. You need the vibe of the room.
Sounds good in here to me.
I don't know. I don't know about the vibes in here today.
Yeah, what are the vibes in here today?
This is a Friday show, I think. All right, get us out of here.
I just love this. I think this is so funny. This is
I
such
gotta
a
get to
weird way to
Abbotsford
hold
here.
this. This is so Friday, is what Aaron said in our private chat. For our technical producer, Aaron Berdato,
There he is.
and my co-host, Chris Faber, my name is Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
I'm off to Abby, coming to get a hot dog. Canucks Conversation with Quads and Faber. New episodes every weekday, 1:30 across the board, except for Wednesdays, 1 o'clock. We'll see you there live on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. For more information, visit CanucksArmy.com.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?